So we started with MVC and understand how to configure dispatcher servlet and how to configure URL pattern in web.xml file and how to implement controllers and how to take forward our request till controller and how to get response back from controller. We are clear till there, right? So we understand both request and response flows, both forward and response coming back. We understand how it is happening. So we will do one end-to-end application, okay, and I'll show you few more controller class. Still, what I would say, those are not recommended programmatic classes, but just for uh, keeping knowledge that before annotations we have all this kind of stuff. I want to give that. Otherwise, we can go with annotations. Okay, nowhere you see the programmatic classes. Even not from 10 years, nobody using them. So let me do one end-to-end application. Okay, I think we have done, but without, yeah, without database and business layer, right? We have implemented it. Let's use all combinations and implement it. So we have done here student registration application with simple controller. So here just reading these parameters and again setting them into map and returning one success page and printing them into response success page, right? Now here I will use the complete end-to-end flow including ORM, AOP. Okay, so for whatever concepts we learned, let us apply them. Yeah, I'll be creating from scratch. Yeah, Servlet project. I'm creating project SMS student management system. Finish it. So created one dynamic web project. So here add your web.xml file. Web.xml story is same always. Okay, so just keep your web.xml file here under webinf and create a Spring XML file. We will do changes in Spring XML file. Okay, and now let's copy libraries. I want to use all the libraries. I want to use Hibernate here, right? So let me use all the jar files. So here I have almost all the jar files, right, including Oracle dependencies as well. So just let me put them into library section. Okay. Now, yeah, I have set up ready with the dispatcher servlet combination, and I have one simple XML file. Okay, this one we will modify. Let's create one simple registration page, index.html. I have fields here, name, email, address. So by taking these input fields, I want to this one. Yeah, web.xml file and index.html and the servlet file. One, two, three. These three files copied. Okay. Yeah. In webinf, two files. Outside webinf, under web content, one welcome file, index.html. Okay. Now for the coding, right? Which I need to start with first. I have name, email, address here. So what I need to implement first here. So first thing, configurations we need to make ready for any application. So you may create configurations first. com.rbu.student management system.config. So I want to create configurations here first. Which configurations? I want to connect with database. So I want to create configurations here. Okay. So connection pool or session factory implementations I want to add there. Stereotype, JDBC, Hibernate. Yeah. So here, let's create configuration. I need a data source. Then I need to create a session factory. And to use Hibernate template, you have Hibernate template also here. You remember this, right? First to create connection pool, then session factory, and then use Hibernate template. So now create a configuration class here, app configuration, at the rate configuration. Configuration. So if you want me to draw, I can draw for you. So the steps usually how to create, right? You can see before writing all backend part, right? Create your configuration, set up your configurations ready, which is very important. So configuration, which all configurations for front end web.xml configurations you need to do. That anyway you can do in a web.xml file that you have done already. So here we configure URL star mapped to dispatcher servlet. And what about other configurations? To run my backend application, I want to use Hibernate template. So I want to create Hibernate template here. To create Hibernate template, you need to create connection pool first. Then that connection pool you should pass it into session factory. Session factory you need to pass it into Hibernate template. So make this configuration ready first. Once configuration is ready, you can start implementing your application. Coming to implementation part, you will be writing or creating a front end first here, your view with all input fields. I have a name, email, address. As soon as I submit this data, first this data should go to DTO. So usually people will implement from back end to front end. That is the most realistic way. So as soon as I submit this, I need a controller here, and then controller should take it forward to service, service to DAO. As I want to use Hibernate template here for my DAO, okay. Step 1, these configurations are ready. Step 2, UI ready. Step 3, backend code. So in that backend code, I will start with the DAO first. Okay. Step 3, DAO. What I need for this DAO, as I want to use Hibernate here, for DAO you need to create entity first. Which entity I need to create? I want to save name, email, address data. Where do you want to save? In table. So there you need a database, and you have a table here. Every table must have a primary key. So ID I don't want to enter from UI, but I want to generate it. Name, email, address. This fields I want to save it into this table. So this table equivalent one entity class I need to create as part of this DAO implementation. Before DAO, you need to create one entity class, Hibernate entity class. As I thought of creating DAO, but let's create entity first. Before DAO itself, create entity. Bean class, entity class, with at the rate entity and table we create, right? Let's create that class first. Student entity as a step 3 here. And step 4, create your DAO. Step 4, create your DAO. And during DAO coding, right? What you need to do? This coding steps. You need to auto wire your Hibernate template class here. Just auto wire your Hibernate template. So that first auto wire Hibernate template, then write code here, which all methods you want. You want save method, update method, delete methods. So let's write them here. Save, update, delete, implement them. To save, update, delete, you have already entity and Hibernate template. So you can implement your code. You need not to wait for business data or controller data. I mean, the setup is ready for you to implement DAO class. So you can complete it. So you can complete DAO class. All DAO class dependencies are available. For save or update or delete, you need entity only here input, right? Your student entity. So that entity is already ready. You can configure it in your methods and do the implementation. So complete your DAO class. Even Hibernate template also ready. As part of configuration step, we have done that. So done. This class implementation is done. Hmm. Yeah, yes. Not connection pool. Yeah, connection pool, session factory, Hibernate session factory. See that until Hibernate template. From connection pool to Hibernate template, you will be seeing JDBC style. You will be seeing connection pool with JDBC style. You will be seeing session factory style. You will be seeing Hibernate template style. Okay. Hibernate session factory. Just go through videos. Yeah, it's okay. If you miss that practice, still after this example, right? Do this end to end, okay, with Hibernate template, and you may remove Hibernate template with the session factory also. You can try it. You may remove session factory and directly with connection pool also. You can try it. Okay, that three examples already I have given. Maybe once again revisit and see them. Okay, so complete your DAO implementation step 4. The next, business class step 5. Implement your business class, student business or service. So what you need to do here, the service should talk with the DAO. So auto wire your DAO here. As DAO is ready, it is ready for auto wire. You can auto wire it. DAO you can auto wire. And here you can have your business methods. Create student, update a student or delete student, whatever business methods you have. You can implement them here. And these business methods, if they want to talk with DAO is already ready. You can call them. From here, you want to call DAO.save, you can call. Because DAO method is ready, you can use it comfortably. So by this step 5, service also ready. Then your controller. Step 6. Step 6. Have your controller here. So here you can auto wire your service. As service is ready, right? You can auto wire your service here and have your controller method. That's it. What controller method? Handle request. Here already we done that, right? Handle request controller. So this handle request controller method will provide you request and response objects. You read your data from that request and response. You read the data here and you can call service now. So end to end is ready. View is mapped to controller. Here during your view creation, right? You would be mapping to controller. Maybe this we do as a last step, okay? Here I have request and this is my controller. As a step 7, do this configuration. Not yet ready, okay? As a step 7, apply component scan to scan all your classes. Component scan, you know what it will do. If you use stereotype annotations here, if you use stereotypes, it will scan them and create objects for you. My controller is not at stereotype, but for service onwards, I will use stereotype. At the rate service stereotype, I can use. At the rate repository stereotype, I can use. Because I don't want to configure them. I don't want hard code them in XML file. Or else you can hard code without these annotations. If no stereotype annotation, hard code it in XML file. If you have stereotype, then need not to hard code. Controller, I want to hard code it. Not yet. I am ready for annotation here. So I just implemented this from controller interface. So I'll be configuring it. Component scan will do what? It will create objects for your configuration DAO service. Component scan here in this step, what it will do? It will create configuration object, DAO object, service object. This component scan create your objects. That is also clear. We are very clear, right? How it will create. Now the mapping is pending. From front end to back end mapping is pending. You know how to configure it. Using bean name, you can configure your request here URL and your class name here. What is your class name? It's your controller, whatever controller you have implemented, right? You just need to put your controller. So this mapping also ready. As a step 6 you need to do this. Step 6 on step 7. We will see how many steps will be reduced while going to advanced level concepts, right? We will see. But basic core concept, if I follow this many steps that I need to do. And one more thing, this is complete request flow configuration I have done. Again, if you want to get response back after creation of records into table, I want to send a response back as a success page. I want to send one success.jsp page return. For that one, we have view resolver. Success page I want to return. Success.jsp. There I want to print my ID, name, email address, all the parameters. While sending, I don't have ID, but while getting response, I'll get ID. ID will be created by backend code. So I want to print that ID as well. So that back coming mapping also you need to put here. The return mapping also you need to put here using view resolver. We know how to configure it. We need to configure one bean name here, view resolver, which helps to find as per architecture, right? It will help to find the response page path and extension. From which location your response success.jsp page, it need to find it out. And what is this page extension? Is it JSP or HTML page? Via this configuration, dispatcher select will understand. So finally, you have to complete with the step 7. So your application is ready. Your application is perfectly ready. Okay. First, what I did, I created this project and web.xml file is configured. And what else I need to do? Configurations, I need to make it ready. As part of step 1, after creation of project, right? Configurations are first. Web.xml configuration is done and app configuration. Here I need to create connection pool. Then I need to inject connection pool into session factory because I want to use Hibernate template. Then I need to inject into Hibernate template. So first to create a connection pool. Using Apache basic data source. This is connection pool implementation class and created connection pool by setting up maximum active 20 connections. Cool. Pool is ready. Connection pool. Now I want to create session factory using this connection pool. Set up your session factory here. So for session factory, one bean adding here using annotation session factory bean. We learned, right, pure programmatic approach without Hibernate configuration file. To avoid all these database driver configurations and all, we will be using connection pool here. Create a data source. So this data source is used here. And set annotated classes. We would be doing mapping classes right in XML, the same thing. Your bean class you need to configure. Not yet ready, we will create and add it here. And Hibernate properties like Hibernate dialect, HBM to DDL, auto commit, show SQL. You need to set all of them here. Finally, when you call after properties set, it will prepare Hibernate session factory and deliver it here. So the same thing I am written. This one also we know. After session factory, yeah, it is asking for student class. Let's create that entity as well. Otherwise, compilation error will be there. So, or else after creation of entities, again come back and add them here. Okay. After completion of your entities creation, come back and add them here. Go to your code and add them here. Okay. This is where we are adding. Let me remove these comments. Okay. Now very clear. Now create Hibernate template here and inject into Hibernate template. Just inject session factory. So session factory is coming from this method, that bean. Only one time only it will create. As you know the importance of bean with the configuration. You try to call it manually or via auto wiring you inject it. Only one object it will create for you. So using session factory, I have a template also created. Cool. So everything is ready. Until configuration, everything is ready. The next, as a step 3, create entity class, student entity. For entity class, create a package form dot rbu dot student management system dot model objects. You may name it model or entity. It's up to you. Okay, model or entity or JPA bean or JPA entity, whichever you feel comfort. So I'm creating that model class here, student, and I need actually just consider you have a table here with ID, name, email address, student MVC with the entity with the integration. We have done till DAO, right? DAO up to service also we have done, not integrated with the MVC. Yeah. So use here entity table map to your table here, table name, student MVC, and my database schema system. Private int ID, private string name, private string email, private string address. Oracle. Yep, like username. This is username. ID. This is primary key. You know, primary key generator also. Generated value, strategy. You can use auto. Automatically, it will generate ID for you. And for the remaining fields, I will be using here build path, configure build path. Let me add Lombok dependency also. Yeah, auto will do what? First, it will get maximum ID from table. Already, if I have a table with records 100, it will get max ID 100. From there, it will generate the sequence 101, 102, 103, 104 plus 1 it will add. Okay, your own custom ID, if you want custom generator, you can add here. Your own custom generator class you can implement and you can add that here. Let's say sometimes IDs are alpha, we have characters plus numbers, right? When you have that alphanumeric values, let's say IBM 1012 is my employee number. So how to generate it? My employee codes are having company name appended. Can I generate such IDs? You can. In such case, you can make your primary key as a string and you can put your custom generator here. Okay. Just you need to implement this generator class custom generator and add it. That will take care. All the technique we should add as part of that custom generator. You may see that generator examples from our blog also. I have given example site, right? There you go. Go to Hibernate ORM. So in these examples, you can find custom generators. See that, okay? You will understand. Same strategy, try to apply for annotation also. Okay, yeah. So the remaining column names as it is, I want to maintain. So let's not use any at the rate column. By default, all these fields will be mapped to student MVC table. That's it. My entity being also ready. So do one thing, go back to your configuration and just enable it. Put your student class here. That's it. Now configuration ready, model ready. What next? DOM. You need DAO. Step 4, DAO. Go to com.rbu.sms.DAO package. Student DAO. Just put at the rate repository annotation on top of it. And here I want to do CRUD operations. To do CRUD operations, you need Hibernate template. So auto-wire that Hibernate template here. I need Hibernate template. Is it ready already? Means yes. Hibernate template is ready in your configuration class. So you know, right, at the rate bean will register all these objects into IOC container. Your Hibernate template also ready as a bean. So this bean I can auto-wire comfortably here. So Hibernate template is auto-wire. Which all CRUD operations you want, you can implement them here. Public student create student or save. Pure database terminology if I use save student object. So here I want to save the student object. Let's do it. Template dot save. As soon as you save, it will return a response back with the generated primary key. What it is saying? Huh. Yeah, if you don't have separate names for table columns and beans, yes, you can use the same names. But when you have different names, you must use at the rate column here. Let's say in table I have name is like a student name. Yeah, we use Hibernate DDL operation. Okay, it will create this table. As we have here configuration ready, right? To create table, here we configured Hibernate HBM to DDL auto update. It will create table for you. If table not exist, it will create. Okay, na? We should never. Yes, people still if you are saying we are using, if it is a document kind of database, that is continuously updating schema, keep on changing columns if you have in your application, that is okay. But I don't think when you have strict database rules, right? Strict database tables. So database we need to create separately first, then we should integrate that in our application. Otherwise, you should not create tables using this feature. Okay. Yeah, there are many arguments, but I never recommend to create them if it is database centric application, right? Database tables are very serious, or I mean, very important or sensitive matter. You don't touch them with HBM to DDL. Yeah. So I'll be getting ID here, int ID. What it is saying? Save need to return. Huh? Usually Hibernate save will return entity itself, not entity primary key. Serializable only. What serializable it is returning? Let me put integer. If we see error, then we will think about it. So this ID, right? While sending the data, I didn't set ID. So while sending response, I'll put this ID into that bean and I'll return it. Return student. While coming here, no ID. After this save, you will be getting ID. Set that ID back and send it in response. Okay. DAO is ready. DAO also ready. Then next, service step 5. Create a package com.rview.sms.service package. Name it with at the rate service annotation. So here you need to auto-wire DAO. Auto-wire your DAO student dog. Then I need a method here, public student create student. So I'll be getting input from controller and I'll take it forward to this DAO. DAO.save method I can call and I can pass the same student object. It will return me student object back with the ID. So let's capture it into the object and return the same back to control. Now service also ready. Let's write controller here. Till here I use stereotypes. For controller I don't use. Okay. com.rview.sms.web. I'll be writing a web class here. Class web. You can write it here. Class web. Student controller. Programmatic approach only I will use. In next example we will use stereotype. Implement it from controller interface. And you know which method you should override. Handle it first. Okay. From here I want to call my service method. So you may auto wire your service. Here in your controller, right? You may auto wire your service, then implement handle it first. Student service. Now you can use student service here. Dot call create student and pass your student object. But from UI I am getting data in the form of request object. So let's read your data request dot get parameter name email address. Set them into student object. Create a student object. Student equal to new student. Set the data here. Student dot set name, read request parameter and set it into student object. Student dot set email, read it from UI and put it in this bean. So front, yeah, yeah, you create. Who will create? You only need to create. You create entity object and send it across. I created entity object here. Then the same entity I will send it to service to DAO. DAO will save it into table. And same entity as a response you will get back with the ID. So the life cycle of entity will start at line number 20 and it will finish by line number 24. You are done. Now from here you need to send response back. So you know how to send it. Model and view. New model and view. So you know you need to set your success page name here. Whatever name. Student success something. Student hyphen success dot JSP page I want to send. So student hyphen success is my page. And as part of model object, you can send your response. You can create a map, string key, and I will set student object here in the map. Map dot put student, and I will set student object in the response. So I'll be getting complete object. If I fetch with the student key, I'll be getting the student object there. So finally, response also build. So this response coming via this student success page. This response going to student success page. So whichever folder you want to create inside WebInf, create it. Views or success pages. Configure your success page there. Student success dot JSP. So here you can read your response. Sorry. Mm, Practice. You should learn it actually. Yes. If you see any applications which are built using JSP MVC combination, you can understand the flow. Or easily you can imagine if programmatic way of doing how to do it, how we are overcoming or how we are reducing these configurations, and in place of this XML files where we are doing the configuration stuff, how it is handling that depth knowledge you'll get. It's okay. Okay, if you do one two examples you will get the complete programmatic idea also. But when you go to boot, nothing to do, everything on the flight take care. But at least you will see that pain when you go there, right? You can imagine how hard doing the configurations manually. So here get the student object from the request to dot get attribute. We have set one attribute to that student, so we will be getting that attribute here. student attribute. So print the student data here, ID, name, email, address. So let's print them here. Student dot get ID, get email, get name, get email, get address. Bus. So the front end also is done. Little bit configurations are left, right? Component scanning and front end to back end to front end mappings are missing. So create one more XML file here. So I need component scanning and all, right? So hibernate. Yeah. Create one XML file. What is our XML file name? SMS. SMS hyphen servlet dot XML. So annotations, activate it. Use component scan to scan your packages and to create objects. com.rbu.sms and controller mapping and forward mapping and response mapping are missing. So configure them here. Bean name your controller com.rbu.sms.web.student controller. So controller object with bean tag I am creating, whereas other objects are scanning automatically and creating your service and DO objects and configurations also. Okay, controller not name class. Controller name is your form mapping slash reg dot rbu. Thus, and response mapping. This is forward mapping. This is request mapping. I need response mapping. Using view resolver, we do that. We need a view resolver here to do that. Configure internal resource view resolver. Tell which is your output pages, location, and what is the extension. That's it. Now you are done. End-to-end application is ready. Just run it and see will it works or not. Front end is loading till here. Good. Let me enter data here. Register. something is executed and getting some error. The user must supply JDBC connection, unsupported operation from student DAO while using Hibernate template, unsupported operation. What is that? Must supply JDBC connection. Didn't we? The user must supply JDBC connection. Why it is saying that? Configuration is ready, right? Arkill dot JDBC dot Arkill driver. You say Arkill thin localhost 131 XE system admin connection pool size. Do you see something missing here? One line missed right here. Session factory. Into session factory we need to inject connection pool. Where is that? That line is deleted. That's why it is fairly asking to set connection pool. Set data source. We missed our data source here. That line also deleted. Create a data source. That's why it is asking connections are not available. Because Hibernate template is checking with session factory is checking with the data source. Then data source is missing here. Then it is worrying. So your application need to be restarted. Okay, it is restarting, reloading. Let's do it again. Submit and go and see. Yeah. If you see here, select next value from dual. Okay, auto is using the Hibernate sequence starting with 1 and getting the next value and inserting that ID. Anyway, you can see this query also executed and a table also not found for it. So what it must have done, table created it. Table created and data inserted. So you may go to your table and see the data. And as a response, I got this data here with his ID, name, email, address. If I insert multiple records here, the data I will get as a response here. So let me do this. Just a minute. Our port number is 9090. So let me see. I'm trying to give you access. Slash SMS. Let me insert my name. I'll see my luck. Oh, I got the response. You also try it, okay? Please enter your data. I'm sharing it you in the chat, okay? You all try to access this link and enter your data. Are you guys there? Yeah, but you can access it. I given public access now. You can access. Your machine can be a server. Yeah, I'll tell you that. Okay. First, try to access it and see. There is a tool NGRock. You guys can download it. NGRock software. It will give you NGRock one application, and you should go to NGRock and just you need to run one command. NGRock command. NGRock HTTP. Your port number bus. Your local host will become public host. Yeah. Do you guys able to insert your data? Let me verify who all inserted it. Select star from student MVC. Yeah, I can see data here with the auto generated IDs. Continuously it will insert your data. I have 9 records, right? Yeah, I will show you. So as soon as you run your local host, right? If you want to share it with public, or else consider I don't have till here we learned MVC, right? To me that means at least a small web application I can build. As soon as you build your web application and you deploy it into your local machine, as soon as I deploy here my code, if I want to give public access, let's say you can consider this like a production ready application, people wants to access from outside. In your local machine, you need to download NGRock software. Download it first. NGRock. Just Google it. NGRock download. So go to downloads and you can download it for Windows. You can download it. Just download it. I'm even sharing you that link. As soon as you download this NGRock, you will get NGRock here. NGRock, extract it, open that folder and open NGRock command, and they given command which you need to run execute. NGRock space HTTP space in which port number you are running your application. Is it 8080 or is it 9090 or is it 5000, whatever it is. Yes, your local host port number you should pass. Bus, run it. As soon as you run this, right, you will be seeing one generated URL. This URL till here. This is the public host URL. This is making your local host to public host. Now your session is available for public. You can share this link with anyone who wants to access your localhost. Otherwise, in simple words, that is replacement to your localhost. Earlier, I used to handle access my application like localhost colon 9090 slash SMS. Now this generated URL is equal to your localhost 9090. You can replace it slash SMS. That's it. Your application is public now. You can give this link to anyone. They can happily connect with your machine because you all are in internet. Yeah. Basically, when you want to implement end-to-end application, this is what steps we need to follow. Okay. First, configurations, web.xml, and your connection pool, session factory, Hibernate template, whatever configurations you need. First, do this step. Step one, done. Configurations are done. Then after configurations, create your entity. Then create your DAO. Then create your service class. Then controller class. So the backend part is ready. So create a front end, map your request to controller via your forward mappings in Spring XML file. Then from here you can send data to service, service to DAO. That will take care of DB operations. The response I want to send it to front end as a model and view I constructed finally. My response constructed into model and view with view name and map. I returned it back. So for this view name again it will approach the view resolver. It helps where the success page location is and what is that page extension. So your dispatchers are let know about your output page. It will send that output page as a response finally as soon as I submit it. I'll be getting a response back. Finally, it will give my response. Clear? Yeah, do follow the steps, same steps just by following this video and keep this example as a reference with you. Okay, so you need this example, right? Or I can share. Let me put it in a drive and share that link with you, and you guys can download that and see. Okay, today when you get time, right? Just do this end to end, and yeah, you'll definitely getting it. Tomorrow we will go with annotations in controller. Then we can close this discussion and we can shift to boot from Monday. Okay. Stereotype annotation we discussed, right? At the rate controller stereotype is there for controller. If you see for configuration for my bean class DAO service, I used pure annotations. When it comes to controller only, programmatic way of configuration I have done it for it. Yeah, implementing controller, overriding this method, and no stereotype is here. Yeah, yeah. So let me close this discussion so that you can share. Okay. Yeah. So that is what for today. Tomorrow we will use stereotype here. When we use stereotype, we can avoid this bean mapping also. So this bean mapping we will avoid. Will completely remove this bean mapping. Okay, and this view resolver also actually we can configure in this configuration class itself. Same bean, right? What happens if I configure that bean here? Nothing happens. Same thing, VR. You can configure using @bean. Your view resolver also you can configure here. And you can avoid this controller class also here. That means no configurations required in XML file. Just component scan. Bus. To avoid this controller mapping, we will use annotations here. That we will see tomorrow. Right? We are going to learn @controller to create your object, to avoid the bean tag, and to map request mapping. Okay, these two we will use. I mean, you have the equivalent configuration here. It's your, it's up to you. Do you want to put this bean here or here? Even this connection pool session factor hibernate template you can configure in XML also. @bean tag is alternative for bean tag only. @bean annotation meant for bean tag only, na? That is what we discussed in the beginning. So either you use @bean tag with configuration or bean tag in XML file. It's up to you. Or else one crazy thing we can try. This controller also we will configure it in configuration and see. Okay, with the bean name. First thing we will try this. Yeah, without XML file. Tomorrow first thing, same example by configuring these two classes into configuration we will try. Then we will go to stereotype. First 5 minutes we will see that, and we will go to stereotype annotations. Okay, and we can close that discussion. Yeah, now you can share your screen. Okay, let me give control. And this. Yeah, coding is simple, but just at least one time if you try it, you will get confidence, and even you can recall it whenever you want. Just if you get the confidence, okay, you need not to remember the coding style or the code. Whenever you feel that requirement you have, you can go back to your examples and again get it back into your memory. But one time practice is required at least.